Today, we have the chance to learn from the experience of Fleury Michon, who is considered as a French leader in delicatessen meat and catering products. Thank you to the speakers, Stéphanie Rico, Sales Forecast Manager, and Vianney Pinault, Planning Manager. Both are working at Fleury Michon for more than 10 years now. The presentation will last 30 minutes and will be followed by a 15-minute Q&A session. So please do not hesitate to post your questions throughout the webinar in the Q&A section of your screen. And now I'm going to hand it over to Stéphanie and Vianney to start the presentation.
Hello, everybody. I'm Vianney Pinault. At first, we'd like to thank Future Master for giving us the opportunity to introduce you our Fleury Michon supply chain model.
Hello, I'm Stéphanie Rico. Hello, everybody.
So before speaking about our supply chain core model, we are going to present first our company and then our business.
Sorry, Vianney, before you start, could you unmute yourself, please, because I cannot manage to do it.
Okay. Is it better? No.
Yeah, much better. Thank you.
So, the story of Fleury Michon started at the beginning of the 20th century with Mr. Fleury and Mr. Michon. They decided to produce and distribute fresh products and cured meats. After the war, during the 16th and 70s, at the same time as the opening of French supermarkets, Fleury Michon took the opportunity to introduce fresh pre-packaged cured meat products. It was a success. Then, in the 90s, the company was the first on the market to introduce surimi, thanks to the idea of Mr. Gonod. Furthermore, the company introduced organic cured meats, snack products, and fresh snacks, such as roasties or even falafels. Today, the company is reinventing ham, especially ham without nitrite, and we are starting to develop veggie meals. Since the beginning of the story, the senior executive always had a vision ahead of competition demonstrated by new innovative products. And therefore, the company is #1 in its market. The revenue in 2018 represented 725 million euros. In the company were around 3,600 employees worldwide. We have 9 factories in France, 2 warehouses, and 7 production units outside the country. We also have our own production units in Canada, Italy, and Spain, thanks to joint venture. Nevertheless, we are producing around 380 million units and are present in 80% of French households.
So Fleury Michon is an independent company, and you can notice that more 60% of the capital is owned by founding families. Sign of our commitment to eat better, we have been implementing many innovations during the last 40 years. Since 1973, we have developed sourcing with our suppliers in order to provide ever more qualitative products. The first of them was the Label Rouge label. Then, in 2002, we developed a range with the label Bleu Blanc Coeur. In 2004, we launched an organic range, and in 2011, we officialized our sustainable fishing approach for our surimi. And more recently, we created, in association with some breeders, the GEM label, which is a range free from GMO and antibiotics. We've also been working for a long time on the nutritional aspect of our products. On several occasions, we have signed charters of nutritional commitment. And with the help of our partners since 1987, the chef Joël Robuchon, we have been working to completely remove additives from our products. Last year, Fleury Michon put in place the Nutri-Score, and we were the first national brand to apply this label.
Three important incomes. The first one is French supermarkets. It represents more than 80% of our income. The company is present all over the country, selling products to hyper supermarkets, hard and soft discounts. The second one is the international. In 2017, it represented approximately 7% of our business. Our most important income is through our factory in Montreal. In fact, this factory produces frozen meals for airlines catering. We are also present in Italy through PFI and in Spain through Platos Tradicionales. And the last one is the new services. They represent 8% of our income. We have different core business. One is called Room Saver and based in Paris. Through this one, we deliver food meals in a B2B supply. And through another one, we produce meals for healthcare facilities with frozen prepared meals.
Let's have a look now at our main products, which are sold in supermarkets. In packaged cured meats, we've got a large range of pork hams, and recently we launched a range with zero nitrates that we presented at the Agricultural Trade Fair, but also some poultry slices and some ready-to-eat cured meat. We've also been selling a lot of recipes of ready meals, and we launched last year a salad jar range. Another category is surimi, which is a seafood product. And recently, we began to sell some appetizer products commercialized under the Passo brand.
Through our new services, Good Morning, Merci beaucoup, and Parisi, the main goal is to be closer to our customers. In order to match the company's strategy, we, as planning, supply manager, and forecast manager, are working on deploying a full supply chain strategy that will allow us to be more efficient. This will help the company through our supply to match the demand. So let's explain to you how our flows are organized in France. As I told you, our factories are mostly located in Vendée. 7 of them are here. We have another one in Bretagne and the last one in the north of France. We also have 2 warehouses. One of them is in Vendée and the other one is in Le Mans. The particularity of our logistic organization is that one product can only be in one warehouse. We don't have stock in our plants. We push all our finished products to the right warehouse. Let's now speak about the story between Futurmaster and Fleury Michon. The story was built step by step to meet business needs and evolution. In fact, The story started in the late 90s, and at first, we had to deal with two problems. Our business grew faster than expected, and we were worried that our tools wouldn't pass the year 2000. We started to implement our supply with the demand and planning with only one level. After this first stage, we had to deal with the increase of stock keeping units and the augmentation of promotions. In fact, we decided to implement the advanced promotion module. Then, between 2007 and 2011, all our business was growing and the majority of our industrial tools were saturated. We had to project our industrial master plan very analytically to objectively validate additional industrial needs and avoid unnecessary investments. To help us make the right choices, we have implemented the planning multi-level for all our factories in France. After this step, we needed to harmonize our data with only one forecast for all the S&OP actors. The forecast department initialized the deployment with the best actors to implement this only data in the right time horizon. The last project we led was to implement demand for our subsidiary room server. This project was elaborated to meet our strategic challenge, the deployment of new markets, principally near Paris, with special logistic flows and production. We can say that this story lasts for over 20 years, and we hope that our respective successes can make this relationship last.
So let's see now our operational organization. First of all, some figures to quantify supply chain at Fleury Michon. On average, we deliver 1,600 tons per week, which corresponds to 1 million boxes per week and approximately 6,500 orders per week. All this is managed by a logistic team in charge of transport operation and stock and on order supervision. Another specificity is the very short time between ordering and shipping. Indeed, we only have 3 hours on average to prepare orders. In such a context, it's obvious that we must work exclusively on stock. So production must have been done before. To make a product, it takes between 3 days and 3 weeks, depending on the process of each recipe. Another special feature is the short shelf life of our products, between 5 to 38 days, depending on the product. In some cases, the raw materials are in stock, but in others, they are supplied for each production, especially when it concerns fresh raw material. We have a procurement team composed of 15 people who deal with 500 suppliers. All this is possible thanks to a planning which is established each day by the planners. According to the type of product and the complexity of the process, the program is frozen from 1 to 10 days in advance. We have 2 or 3 planners on each production site to manage a total of 1,000 SKUs. And as you can imagine, this schedule is calculated from the forecasts that are provided by the demand department. This one is located physically near the sales team. To complete the loop, forecast can be refreshed every day with the analysis of the previous day's sales.
So now I will explain
how IT flow is organized. As I explained to you, we use FutureMaster solutions for demand and planning. These advanced planning systems are fed with data sources by our product information management. The name of our PIME is Genfi by Agena. In each plant, we use FutureMaster planning to define and send the best manufacturing planning and scheduling in our ERP, whose name is Protean. Classically, the net requirement calculation is made here to define the optimal supply plan. Excuse me. Then, in each plant, we can receive, produce, declare in real time, which is deployed everywhere. Once it's produced, the stock transits to our logistic warehouses. Thanks to our new warehouse management system, I say it because we just changed it and it was a big project. We can prepare the orders before shipping the products. Most of our data transferred between plants and warehouses or customers and warehouses are dematerialized with EDI messages. It's a classic IT flow that requires daily attention to be effective. This classic process should capture the right data at the right place at the right time so that best management decisions can be made. We always remember that beyond the best IT flow, it's imperative to recall that it's the quality of reporting which enables quality decisions.
Now, I will introduce you to our end-to-end operational process, which begins from now to week plus 25. Let's begin by the input of the forecast. There's obviously sales history, on which we apply a statistical model with the FutureMaster to calculate trend and seasonality. We are also working on a bank holiday setting. We also consider promotions and marketing activities. For these ones, FutureMaster helps us to define the best sales profile. And lastly, we also incorporate a weather coefficient for the next 2 weeks. All this gives us a centralized forecast with some daily data which is permanently updated. We calculate forecast for each pair SKU delivered customer, and all is sent twice a day to our planning base.
As Stephanie explained to you, our centralized forecast will be used to define 3 main items. The most important is the manufacturing program. This one is divided in 3 horizons. The objective of the plan from week +4 to week +8 is to confirm that our plant capacity is okay and to decide if it's necessary to export the activity to another plant. This schedule takes into account constraints such as plant closures for works. Then we validate a planning from week +1 to week +3. The plan must confirm the schedule we validated previously. It takes into account constraints such as maintenance on production lines. The last one is from day +1 to week +1. It validates the schedule at the product level. It takes product constraints like allergens or customer-specific requirements. So when your MPS is validated, you must optimize your supply plan. From this one, we'll anticipate raw materials in each storage. In fact, the supply department has to define the best stock level at the best place to be at the best price. And at the end, according to the MPS and specifically in Vendée, we can design human mobilities to meet the need of sizing factories. It's a complex process in Fleury Michon, which needs a lot of anticipation.
So let's have a look now at our strategic process. This time, we speak about an horizon from months +6 to months +18. For the strategic forecast, some inputs are the same as before, like sales history, promotions, and marketing activities. And in Future Master, we use the same models as in the short-term process. The main difference is that we add some hypotheses, like product launches, for example, or new customer development or new markets. Another difference is the real collaboration between departments to provide this forecast. This time, the update is only quarterly and the level is less fine. On the customer axis, we stop at retail chain level, but for the product axis, we stay at a SKU level. And to finish, data is available weekly, but also monthly. This collaborative strategic forecast is the input data of the budget process. Each month, we have a forecast review with the sales department, marketing, costing, planning department. And in this meeting, we compare the updated operational forecast with the last strategic forecast. If there is a significant difference, it allows us to take corrective action immediately. And each quarter, it is also sent to Future Master Planning, and it is the input of other supply meetings.
So after the monthly meeting, we have different meetings or exchanges with different departments to anticipate future needs. The first one is the capacity simulation with industrial and development direction. We can have different supply meetings which define that our production capacity is consistent with the forecasts. Beyond the meeting, permanent exchanges between these directions are essential to always anticipate future needs. The second one is with the sourcing department. This process is still being optimized in our company. It aims to translate business needs into buying needs. It's a strategic process because to meet the business need, we sometimes need to anticipate several years sourcing to be able to respond. This is the case on the organic sectors, for example. We are working to make this process as fast and efficient as possible with regard to financial issues. The last one is the forward management of job and skills. Especially in Vendée, we have to deal with a very low unemployment with which we must confront very seasonal activities. Beyond the mobilities, if we want to answer future needs, we have to anticipate and translate business needs into skill needs. It's a new process in Fleury Michon, still improved but essential if we want to attract and recruit the best people for the future.
For the KPIs, we have chosen to show you 4 of them. First, the forecast accuracy, which is measured each week. As you can see, we have an average score of 90%, which is very satisfactory. And what is important is that we have been maintaining this result for 5 years despite a big increase of SKUs number and supply complexity. At the same time, we also managed to maintain a good customer service level and a low unsold rate. Regarding the stock level, we have 3 days on average.
This chart represents our principal
projects. The first one is our DRP program in France for all our business. In fact, we have the conviction that we need to stock all our products in all our warehouses. Our commitment is that if we want to produce more and more fresh products, we must locate our warehouses at the nearest point of consumption areas to reduce logistic times. The next one concerns the valuation of promotions and, in a general view, the valuation of our S&OP process end-to-end. We need to make our decision process more dynamic and fast. To do this, the only way to speed up this process is to speak in euros end-to-end and not in kilo or SKU. Also, we have to rework our IT environment. We have big jobs ahead to replace our tools, the ERP and the MES, for example. And we have to think about the impact of such changes on our trade. These changes have to be opportunities to challenge our organizations and IT flows. We also have to accompany the digital transformation with more mobility in our solutions and cloud storage in all our future projects. And the last one, and maybe the more important, concerns our supply chain organization. As we explained, you can have the best applications, the best skills, but if your organization isn't the best one, your results won't meet the expectations. So we reflect on a transversal supply of all our activities, French supermarkets, international, and new services.
As for our experience, we can notice 4 key success factors. First, we think that the top management sponsorship support is essential. Then you need to have robust and at the same time agile IT tools. Another important point is the motivation and the skills of the S&OP teams. And to finish, you need to have a daily process management. In summary, a S&OP process needs a big investment of time and energy to involve and persuade everybody. Thank you for your attention.
Thank you.
Thank you both for your very interesting presentation. We received many questions from the attendees. We are going to try to respond to as many as possible during this 15 minutes Q&A session. Okay, so the first question we have is the data on seasonality based on sell-in, primary sales, or sell-out?
We calculate seasonality with sell-in. The exception, it's when it is a new range. In this case, we have no sales history, so we work with the marketing department, and in this case, we take into account sell-out of similar products which are commercialized by other companies and which have been on the market for a significant period.
Okay, thank you, Stephanie. Does your sales team forecast at a per customer level per product or only at a national level per product?
The demand team established the forecast at per customer level per product. First, it is at a per national customer level, and then during the night interface, we dispatch at a per regional level.
Okay. We received a question that can concern both of you, I think. Are you satisfied of FutureMaster solutions?
No, we are not satisfied. It's a joke. Yes, I think we can say it because, as we explained to you, the story lasts for almost 20 years. The relationship we have between FutureMaster and Fleury Michon allows us to effectively share our projects and to find new solutions which answer new problems. But we can also say that beyond technical solution, what is really important is the relationship and to have the best level of expertise at FutureMaster, but also at Fleury Michon. And I take this opportunity to thank and greet Jean-Michel Landriot and Estelle Chéniaud, who are the true planning experts at Fleury Michon.
Yes, I agree. I agree. Overall, we are very satisfied with the FutureMaster solution because there are a lot of possibilities for setting the different options, and FutureMaster teams are very, very competent. FutureMaster has always answered our needs for 20 years. Even if now, with years of usage, we have begun to be quite autonomous for some settings when they are not too complex. And as Vianney said, we think it's very important to have in our teams advanced user in order to be autonomous on some subjects.
Okay, great. We were talking about your team. How many people are you in the demand and supply planning team?
So for the demand department, we are 8 people.
Okay.
In the team, 5 people are more concentrated on the operational process, and 3 others are working on strategic process and projects. We are thinking about changing our organization in the demand department. We would like to be more connected between operational and strategic process.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, go ahead, sorry.
No, I can say that in the planning team, as we explained to you, we manage the planning with decentralized planners. So we have between 2 or 3 planners in each plant, but all our projects are managed by 2 expert planners who can intervene with different departments according to the projects.
Okay, thank you. Do you compare the demand forecast versus annual sales target? How do you manage the difference? Sorry.
Yes, each month there is a forecast review, and in this meeting we compare the operational forecast and the sales target. And in this meeting there are marketing direction, sales direction, costing direction, industry direction, Vianney and me.
Okay.
And as we said in the presentation, when there are important differences between the 2 values, we analyze and we discuss to try to estimate the risks. And in this meeting, sometimes after this meeting, there may be some important consequences It can be sales decisions, marketing decisions, costing decisions, and or industry decisions.
Yes, and as I explained to you, we can have different supply meetings, which defines that our production capacity is consistent with the forecast and the best one. For the planning, especially during the budget period, we can compare differences between the budget plan and the reality.
Okay, thank you both. Do you use also FutureMaster for purchasing planning?
It's for me, Stephanie.
Yes, you can answer.
No, we use FutureMaster for supply planning, not for purchasing planning, but and after we do the requirement calculation in our ERP.
Yes, maybe we can add that that FutureMaster is used for purchasing, but only in the case of finished goods,
Yes.
which are outsourced. But yes, you're right. In fact, it's not really a purchasing plan, but only a supply plan. Yes.
Okay. We have another question now about challenge. How challenging was it for you to start the SNOP meetings?
I begin. It was quite difficult at the beginning. At the beginning, we identified two main aims. First, we wanted to have only one forecast data in the company, but data which was shared by everybody. And the second aim was that this data had to be usable. That means at a SKU level and for industry, and also at a customer level for the sales and marketing department. And that means too a need of weekly data for supply and industry, and a need of monthly data for sales and marketing. But in fact, the first difficulty has to be to convince the sales department, to convince them to spend time with us to work on forecast, because at the beginning they didn't see the advantages for us. They consider it only as an additional task and without added value. It takes time, but step by step we managed to convince people, and after a few months, everybody got on board. The difficulty we have now is no longer to convince people, but to organize. I want to say to find the good reasons, the good perimeter for our SNOP meetings. And even if our process is now well established, we are continually questioning how to improve it.
Yes, I agree with Stephanie, because for the planning department, we have the same difficulties and the same challenge. The most important thing is to convince all the actors, and mainly the anticipation of the forward management of job and skills, as I explained. And more generally, we must always reinvent our meetings to answer to new problematics. So it's yes, it's a daily challenge, but an exciting challenge.
Great. Could you perhaps, Stephanie, elaborate further on what technique do you use to measure forecast accuracy?
Technical question. I will try to be clear. So for the forecast accuracy, we sum the forecast deviations of each product in absolute value, and then we divide by the sum of all forecasts. I can add that we measure forecast accuracy at different levels, daily or weekly, and at different horizons. In the presentation, we spoke about a weekly accuracy, and the reference is the forecast which has been made one week before, because it corresponds to the moment that we make important decision in our plans for the organization.
Okay, that's clear. What is the biggest challenge in this project implementation?
I will answer for our supplied projects in general, because I think the biggest challenge is they are the same as in all standard projects. That means to well express needs and aims, to define budget and return on investments, and to choose a competent project team.
Okay, great.
Yes, I can just say that I think that the main failure, I'm sure, is to think that a supply project is an IT project. You need the IT department to follow the project, but the pilot of the project must certainly be the job of the supply department. And then, as Stephanie explained to you, the most important thing is to know what you want to do and why is it so important to achieve this goal. You must have a well-expressed need, and after it's the classical job, you have to persuade all the top management sponsor. You need best skills and the IT department. Yes.
Okay, thank you. Do you challenge the forecast of the markets and make adjustments?
Challenge the forecasts of the markets. It's not this way that we have built our process. We don't pretend to anticipate market trends with our statistical analysis. But it's true that sometimes we see some breaking trends or reversal trends before the other departments. But in all cases, what is important is to exchange with all the actors to confront the different points of view, and to make a complete analysis, and then taking collaborative decisions.
Okay. Last question before to close this webinar. How the weather is integrated in FutureMaster, and does it work well?
So the weather technically is integrated in the table exogenous data, and to find the good coefficient, we take into account temperature, and with the years we have built correlations between the deviation of standard temperature and forecast, and we've got a table of coefficients.
Okay, thank you. I'm sorry for the question. We didn't have time to answer. We will send you an email after the webinar with the answer to your question. So thank you again very much, Stephanie and Vianney, for your very interesting presentation today, and thank you for all the attendees for joining. We are very much interested in having your feedbacks on this webinar, so please take a couple of minutes to fill in the evaluation survey that you will be receiving shortly. The replay of the webinar will also be communicated to you next week. Thank you again to everyone for joining today. We wish you a very good day or evening.